All right. Okay. All right. All right. I want to thank you all for coming. Let me get the right view here. I got it going on. I'll share with you now. View graphs, I believe. Hold on here. I have to actually make them down here. So much goes into logistics here. All right, there we go. Give me a second to catch up with me. I think you can see me now. Okay. All right, here we go. October 8th, 2023. This is meeting number 8 that we had on Zoom. I've had a couple that were only on video, asynchronous. Of course, you can always get a copy of this video on YouTube Live. Those of you seeing it on YouTube Live, hello, if you'll be there in a second, probably. Let's go over a few things I think important. But before we do, I'll take questions at the end because I'll hold those proprietary. If you have, oh no, actually in the middle of the meeting, if you have an information related question that's not particular to you or just of general interest to you that I can answer, I'll do that for sure during the meeting. And we'll have extensive, I'll stay here as long as I can to answer anything. But if I say something weird or if I call for questions during the meeting, you can ask them during the meeting as well. Just some opening announcements first. People are showing up like crazy right now. Hang on. Okay. Just remember, we've started the school year now. Let me make sure. Brianna, you can hear me well, right? Great. I had to reconnect with this microphone.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, good. You can see the view graph, right? You can see the view graph too, right, Brianna?
Yes, I can see it.
Great. I just want to be sure of that. All right. That in mind. Let me move it up. Okay. We do have our in-person homework club started. I'll do virtual for only calculus this year, but we're in person at the cathedral now. You're welcome to send your 12th graders. It's very important to keep our grades up during this period. I always will take 12th graders for free for a couple of months because I know that grades are very important for you. So let me know if you're interested, get a hold of us right away. We'll just guide you to our link online to register. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel through our website. I'll go to the website at the end like I usually do and show you different things that we have there. That's a key place to go for information about our program. If you just go there and click events, you'll know what's going on. There's a lot going on there right now. In fact, maybe I'll do it at the beginning in just a minute. Make your appointments for any consultations you want from me on Zoom. Just get a hold of me. You'll have our contact information. In fact, in the chat, I want Christina to put my cell number and my email address to remind you can get, most of you already have it, remind you can get a hold of me. Here's some upcoming college presentations, tours, and fairs. First of all, I'll be speaking to the Lakewood Center. Also, Sister Brianna will have some things there too. On October 12th, which is this Thursday, 4658 Woodruff, I'll be in person. I think the first time in person again in a year for college stuff anyway. We've been in person in other places for other things, but just come on in for that for sure if you want to come out. Again, that's on our website. I'll show you that in a minute, but I also included the address here in Lakewood in case you're going to come. Let's see what else we got here. On October 19th on Zoom, Loyola Marymount will be here with the great Charles Mason and his youth at the school. We'll have some of our alums that are from Loyola Marymount here as well for a college information session. Thursday is going to be kind of our college night, and we're going to have Loyola Marymount launch that on the 19th. We'll remind you about it by email. Anybody who's okay, I'll tell you a little secret. If you are going to apply to Loyola Marymount, you're going to need extra money, and the decisions for that in our relationship with Loyola Marymount are based on who applies by the 1st of November. So some of you who are lagging behind your essays want to get them done, but also getting some extra money. He looks at who was in his presentation, and he's also giving a fee waiver there as well. So if you're applying to Loyola Marymount and you know somebody that's applying to Loyola Marymount, you absolutely need to be in that session. CSU Bakersfield will be on November 2nd. I'll say more about that in a video and in an upcoming meeting. He's going to be here. That's Darius Riggins. It'll be a very excellent presentation. He'll give a little bit about CSU too. He always has a lot of good inside information that I didn't know about the CSU application. I'm really up to date on it all the time. But he'll be here on November 2nd, 7 p.m. Boise State, who we visited, we have some here who've actually 2 or 3 that visited and then probably are applying, I believe. They'll be in a Zoom session on the 15th, leading up to the deadline of December 15th for applications to Boise State. We're going to give 6 people who have decided to or get accepted to Boise State from our program will receive an offer for $17,000 a year scholarship, which they wanted to name after our pastor, but he said, don't name nothing after me. But we have a great reputation with Boise State and 9 other schools too, for that matter. Those students who decide to go there will receive that award. It's not based on income, it's just based on connection with our program. So Boise State is a great Division I school to consider. We will be taking another tour there probably in January after people have made the deadline. The December tour is still on. It's live. I believe we have a couple of people here going on that, or whose children are anyway. November 4th to 6th, we'll be purchasing the group stuff to see. Boy, I was able to negotiate some nice rates for a hotel room. So I have a super announcement about that for those who are going. But we were originally going to charge for the housing, but I think we have something going there. Sonoma State University, December 8th, is going to be a day trip up early Friday morning, back that evening. And it's one of our favorite CSUs. We have a lot of our great students there. Another good scholarship opportunity unique to our students is involved with that school. All right. Let's see, anything in the chat I need to look at there, Brianna, before I start? I think we're okay.
I don't think so at this time. Well, there's one about homework club.
But that's right. We have links in the chat to our homework club registration. Thank you, Christina. And probably also to our website. I bet that's up there too. We will take a little cruise through there at the end since they put that in the chat. That's great. 5 top application mistakes you might be in the middle of making right now. All right. The college list has too many colleges that will be prohibitively high cost given the GPA. Now, if you want to apply to a couple schools just to see that are going to be high, that's fine, but have them all being high as an issue. If you don't know whether they'll be high or not, set up a meeting with me. I'll help you understand what the cost of your schools will be. And I'm usually very accurate. It's crazy. Things don't change that much. I can usually, after doing this 20 years, know from looking at the application information and some other things, what you'll probably pay for college. This is more of an issue this year than any other year I've seen with lists that have schools that are prohibitively high. I have a belief in why that's happening, but that's not important. A failure to watch early CSU and UC emails and to set up your portals. That reminds me that the CSU application season has started. Christina, I'm delivering 2 tonight. I bet you didn't know that. Ha, ha, ha. But anyway, I'm delivering 2 tonight, but we do CSU applications for students because it's not user-friendly, the application process, but we also train students how to set up their portals and follow up. This is a mistake many students will miss information on their colleges. There's some strange things in CSU follow-up you need to know that they tell you in emails. If you don't know, it could affect you. You could get disenrolled sometimes even. There's individual CSU issues as well for the failure to do that. Someone, oh yeah, Alicia Falls here. I know who she is. Okay. The FAFSA and CS profile are potentially delayed by late 2022. If you haven't filed your taxes for 2022 yet, filing late, see, I can file late because I don't have students going to college. But if you're filing late, make sure you do that. Because as the time goes on here, that will affect the financial aid award for 2024. It will affect it for your students. So you want to get that done. This is a mistake a lot of people make. I saw that last year be kind of disastrous for a couple of people. Hurry your return, but also file your FOBSA based on estimates if you're late. Now, the FOBSA this year, I don't have a view graph for this, but we mentioned it already. So I'll mention it again right now. And that is that most likely, well, not most likely, it's not going to, it didn't drop on October 1st like it usually does. It'll drop now sometime in December. Many people think it'll be December 1st, but the government is not tipped off. I cannot believe the calamities this is causing, having a late FOBSA drop. It's going to cause some very interesting situations come up with athletic awards and with early admission, and people have early, there's a special category of early action that they need that stuff. So I don't know what colleges are going to do. You might want to check with colleges if you have some due dates that still show, November due dates for FOBSAs. You have too many colleges given the high school schedule work and extracurricular activities, and that causes high stress. Yikes. So you want to be really aware of that. And you have late college list additions that are just like all your other colleges. So that one typically isn't a problem right now. That one comes up later. But these are some top application mistakes that we see the effect of by spring or later in the season. And probably they're not people even here tonight, but that's something to be aware of. I'm going to do a lot of view graphs now about the cost of college. I know you probably feel I covered, some of you might feel I covered too much, but I don't think so. I think this year I have to. But it's just, there's this idea of counting up the cost that is in Luke 14:28-30. For which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost, whether he has enough to finish it, lest after he has laid the foundation and is not able to finish, all who see it begin to mock him, saying, listen closely, this man began to build and was not able to finish. I always read that scripture this time of the year. I read it again right before decisions are made. You want to be very careful this year, especially in light of the economy. There are two things about the economy. I'm going to talk about this more in Lakewood on Thursday. There are two things about the economy you have to be aware of. And that is, with inflation so high, the government has raised the interest rates, and it has effectively raised the cost of college because the loans have gone up 30 and 40% in some cases. And I have some tables to show you later. So we really want to be careful this year more than ever before with college costs. So you don't lock in a really high interest rate for your parent loans. And it's important to have colleges on the list that are quite affordable, okay, this year. So we don't have so much wealth going out of our community this year. Some of you may actually be ready for it, so it's not a problem, but just saying. How will I pay for college? It really is first a thing of, analyzing what you will pay. So the next few view graphs will quickly cover what you expect to pay for college. All right. Here's a direct cost analysis of CSU for incomes greater than 65,000. Well, pretty much you're going to be exposed to the cost of the CSU, which means, they just raised their tuition. I don't know if you saw it in the news. It's now $7,000 a year for the lowest CSU. But look at different states in our country, it's comparatively low when compared to, say, the student direct loan, which is $6,500. $7,000 to $9,200, though. You might wonder why there's such a wide width. Well, certain campuses have very high campus unique fees. Like, for example, San Diego State, it is about $9,200 because the campus unique fees are very high. But a college like Long Beach or Bakersfield, for whatever reason, the campus unique fees are lower. You're closer to the $7,000. There's a wide window depending on which CSU you're applying to, that you're going to. The room and board also similarly has a wide window from $14,500 to $20,500. Okay, if you have any questions, just shoot them in the chat, or you can probably say them out. I'd stop. Tuition and fees, $16,200 to $18,000, along with the room and board, which is $13,000. This is UC, by the way. Sorry about that. UC for family incomes greater than 65. $13,500 to $17,500 is what you expect to pay for that school. Actually, for UC, that 65 is more like 75. So there's a little more give and take on UC. Now let's take a look at private colleges greater than 65,000 income. And by the way, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. $25,000 to $69,000. Look at that wide width on tuition and fees for private colleges right now, and out-of-state public universities. $15,000 to $18,500 is what you expect to pay. All right, well, that brings up now I didn't include financial aid or anything like that. We're just wanting people to see if there's, in the worst case of those view graphs, what college could cost. I'll say a lot more about that later in the presentation and in subsequent weeks, what to expect to get in financial aid from schools, but it's probably very relevant for families who are higher income to know what to expect to pay. Why do we have federal loans for college? Some people, it's hard to picture, and I was searching for a way a couple of years ago to do that. I don't think I have one here. So first we have tuition, fees, room and board. That's called direct cost. So whenever you hear someone say, or a financial aid person say, or someone say DC or direct cost, it means tuition and fees, room and board. You got to eat, you got to have some place to sleep, and you got to pay for the tuition. These are the things that are going to be on the bill. These are the billable costs for college, okay? Need-based federal and state grants and plus merit scholarships is considerably less than direct costs for college. In other words, the need-based federal state aid grants plus your merit scholarships is less than the direct cost of the college. In other words, you get your need-based grants, you get your merit scholarships, you're still going to have less than the direct cost for college in most cases. With the exception to the rule, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Tuition fees, room and board is in the blue here. This red arrow here is this, it could be Pell Grant, Cal Grant, University Grant, merit scholarships, free money, okay? And then you'll have this block here, which is the money you have in your pocket plus loans. Now, obviously that amount in the red will be smaller, be a smaller amount proportionally if you make a lot more money. But to give you an idea that you're going to build how you pay for college on several ways. The dollars plus your loans, then your grants, okay? Here's an example of HBCU, example 1. GPA's up to 3.5, income greater than $50,000. Basically, if you're doing HBCU, you're pretty much exposed to the cost of the college. And this is from your 1040 line 16 and your 2022 federal tax return. You're going to pay money out of your pocket plus loans for HBCU. HBCUs only give need-based aid. That's why I was careful to pick above 50,000, because above 50, you just have one student. You're not going to probably get a Pell Grant, or it's going to be very small. So it's just the money in your pocket plus loans for HBCU at that point. And that's true of almost a lot of private colleges, not just HBCU. Okay. Let's look at the second example. The income's less than 40,000. You say, well, what if I make less than 40,000? How does HBCU look then? Well, you're looking at typically, you can see there's a little more. You can see now I have the orange that's shaded in here now. You're going to get a federal Pell Grant and other need-based grants. It's not going to be a blank area in here anymore, but you're still going to have to go in your pocket and pay loans. So even if there's a need basis with HBCU, you're still going to pay out of your pocket and do loans. They don't, now, in the case of CSU, I don't think I covered this here, you pay almost nothing out of pocket this family would pay. This family making less than $40,000 would pay almost nothing for CSU, which is why I say, and also UC, by the way, this is why I say that you better have a really good reason to go to an out-of-state private university if you can go to a selective Cal State or a UC for free, or nothing out of pocket anyway. More CSU, greater than 60,000. Here's CSU. You can see for CSU, you're fully exposed to the cost of 19 to 24,000 a year that you'll pay in cash plus loans if you make more than $60,000. That's the policy in the state of California. When people make less than that, as you'll see in a minute, less than that, you can see that the orange represents the expected grant aid, the Cal grant, the Pell grant, university grants. And there's this very small amount you have in student loans in dollars. Very small amount, okay? So that's how a lot of people are able to attend. If you go locally to a CSU, you make less than 44,000, you don't pay really anything out of pocket for school, okay? Your grants actually cover the cost of the school. All right. That's why I tell people it's not really a college cost problem per se we have. It's if you want to go away to college and live on campus. That's where the costs have really accelerated so fast. Because you can attend a local CSU for almost nothing out of pocket or just the student direct loan in the worst case. Those are free money. I guess you knew that though. Private college greater than $60,000. Sorry for the typo up there. 10,000 on 1040 line 11, same thing. Pretty much you're going to be paying, have 19,000 to 35,000 in loans and cash you're expected to pay. That orange represents the average merit award that we see. So up to 3.9 and sometimes even higher. You're expected to pay something for college. The Ivy Leagues are like that. Everybody pays. There's a thing called an Ivy grant or whatever, and everybody's pretty much the same proportionally paying in. So private college definitely costs way more than public university, that's for sure. Questions in the chat there, Brianna, anything?
Yes, there's a question. Why is the threshold for salary so low, or is that a dumb question?
First of all, it's not a dumb question.
It's not a dumb question.
Oh, Lord, it's not. It's the whole point. Threshold's so low, I actually understand that question because private colleges, well, they would argue that if you want to get a lower cost college, you go to you can go to a local state university for way lower than a private college. You got to remember that. So you hardly pay anything out of pocket.
It makes sense. However, we have this, it's like a catch-all for California, like speaking in California. California is stupidly expensive, like dumb expensive. Yeah. So you make more here theoretically just to be living, I would say, regularly. And I can only imagine what somebody on a $40,000 salary, you know how that goes. However, I'm just like, oh my God, even if you stay in, well, I have a certain different circumstance, but I'm just asking this question theoretically. Like, it just seems so flipping low for $40,000 in California. Wow, that's wow.
So remember, you got to remember what's happening in this country right now. So this is another example, I believe, of how the middle class is being screwed over. Look, there's no matter what your politics are, there's a reason why we have Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump, because the middle class is totally ticked off. When we get tired enough of it, this will stop. But it's like you make too much money to get financial aid, but not enough to pay for it. And that's a major issue. And this is why I have a small group of very affordable colleges that I love to talk about, and I'll mention them again today, that I think parents should look at more. But the problem is we have this thing where the name of the school really means a lot to us, to a lot of us. And it's true of all races, all people. It's that name brand, and they know they can charge more. You know, Stanford knows they can charge $80,000, which is $40,000 for most people, and get away with it. You know, they know it. They know that people will go into debt for it. We have a lot more to say about that later. That might answer your questions more, Sister Joyner. By the way, I'm really glad you're here. I'm actually honored you're here, by the way. I saw you were here the other time. So
I
that's really,
got my daughter on here too, so she's hearing this also. My
Yeah, I
daughter
used-
Gabrielle.
yeah, by the way, Gabrielle, I know you're hearing this. I used to not want students to hear this cost stuff, but now I can't wait for them to hear it. I think it's important that they know this stuff.
Exactly.
It's very important, for sure they do. I see Sister Gory. Hi, Sister Gory. Can you hear me? Sister Gory? Maybe she can't.
Yes, I can hear you. Hi.
I'm so tickled you're here.
Oh, so sorry.
No,
So
don't be
much
sorry.
going
I'm happy.
on, and
Yeah, I'm happy you're here.
thank you. We're both here. Kayla's here too.
Oh, great, great. Maybe we can talk a little later. Okay, great. All right, let's continue here. Okay, and so I was going to say that merit scholarships are definitely a possibility, but look, they don't cover the full cost. That's why Sister Joyner interrupted me. She realized that this orange block isn't going to cover the cost of these private colleges here. All right. There are exceptions to the cost rules right on time, as you've asked, right on time. There are some notable exceptions to our, I call it the EEP cost rules, but really it's the cost rules. If you have an open mind, you have to have an open mind about things, about college and what college can do and what it means to have a career. I'm talking about career at the end. Boise State, Sonoma State, CSU Bakersfield, Long Beach, and other CSUs are all going to be way more affordable than selective private colleges. And there's some selective private colleges that are very affordable. And I don't know how they do it, but they are. UCs, if comparing to private college costs. If you compare UC to private college, it's actually a very good buy. Grand Canyon University, excellent buy for a private college and great career development, great for careers. George Washington University, partially because of my relationship, but also because their whole approach to financial aid is different at George Washington. It's just very different. Sure, the school is $75,000, but a lot of families who make it 100, 120, 130, 140,000 if they can get their students in the school will only pay about 15 to 20,000. And that's very good in the private school world, in case you didn't know that. Lehigh University, same thing. Lehigh is even better than GW. That's a private school. Carnegie Mellon, same thing, especially for Black students. But again, a lot of people, Carnegie, why, you know, it's in Pittsburgh, by the way. Lehigh is in Eastern Pennsylvania. University of Nevada, Reno. Hey, what? Nevada, Reno? Well, it's a very good buy. You know, they call themselves UC Reno. They love to pull students from UC with their cost. They're a research school too, just like UC. Then, of course, there's Seattle Pacific University. Great buy for a private school. I don't know, you just have to look around for a good buy. Anything else in the chat there? I think I saw somebody flash up. Maybe.
No, not at this time.
Good. Okay, there are two categories of student loans to think about. I put students in quotes. Here we go. There are direct student loans that are also called Stafford loans by some people. They were renamed years ago, but people still call it that. Perkins loans. And then we have the parent loan for undergraduate students. Yes, this is considered by the federal government to be a student loan. So when you hear the student loan debt is 1.9 trillion, heading for 2 trillion, it includes parent loans. It's also called a parent loan for undergraduate students, or plus loans. It's also called a plus loan, parent loan for undergraduate students. Okay, let's continue. Okay, on the plus loan, there's no loan forgiveness at all. There is a credit check too. Okay, there's no chance for forgiveness. Now, I mean forgiveness by the old name, not the forgiveness that was recently turned down by the Supreme Court. I'll be talking about that on Thursday night, by the way, if you want to learn more about that. Perkins loans are totally forgivable. In fact, most students don't end up paying their Perkins loan because you can do volunteer service. I've had students volunteer with me to get their Perkins loans forgiven. There's no credit check on those. On direct student loans, there are ways to get those forgiven. But I bet you didn't know this. This is why people said there ought to be student loan forgiveness. Well, there already is. My daughter got forgiveness because she was in the Peace Corps. Federal government employment has always been a way to get your loans forgiven. AmeriCorps, Peace Corps, 3 years of service. My daughter, like I said, she was in Guatemala. Teach for, she got most of it forgiven anyway. Teach for America. That's a program you can work in our inner city schools, get a lot of your loans forgiven after you come out of college. The idea is to do some service to get the loan forgiven. A lot of people like me do not favor loan forgiveness the way they were describing it in that was the last year was being considered. We want to see some service be done for it. Things like that for the forgiveness. I have no problem with this. Why students should pay for college? You might wonder, well, why should students even have a loan for college? Why should they pay? You know what I found? Students should pay or owe something for their college education. They'll receive something of lifelong value. They should pay, they are or become more motivated, get this, to complete college as quickly as possible. They have some skin in the game. Many times parents regret their own student loans, do not want their youth to have loans, but you can pay their loans or pay the additional cost in cash. It's up to you, but you know how I feel. The monthly payment on a student loan is manageable if the student plans a sustainable career independent of the major. A life plan is needed to allow loans to be repaid. All right. There are two types of student direct loans. There's subsidized loans. The interest is paid by the federal government while the student is in college, right? All 4 years. The interest does accrue 6 months after the student leaves college. The first year of the loan, it's $35,000, $35,000. The loan is $3,500. The second year, it's $4,500. The third and fourth year, $5,500 each. The maximum subsidized loan for 4 years of college by federal law is $19,000. Most students have less because as they go on in school, that things happen where they can lower their costs for college and they can cut down their loans sometimes. Unsubsidized loans, the $2,000 each year for 5 years, plus two additional $4,000 per year loans that they can get if the parent loan is rejected. So if the parent loan is turned down, they can get extra loan coverage. Is that a question there somewhere? No. Okay. All right. The maximum unsubsidized loan is $22,000. So you add those up, it is theoretically $41,000. Most students don't reach that. Most loans are going to be somewhere around $20,000 to $21,000 that they owe in principal anyway. I have a lot more to say about that. I want you to see how the monthly payments break down, how that really works. I really want to be sure at this point people know that as they're picking their colleges. I used to do this later, but it was problematic. Here's a typical, here's a typical 4-year West A EEP student situation. Here's 3.5 years of college because about half my students finished in 3.5 years. Here's the way the loans look in 3.5 years. Make sure you close your mic, Sister Sandra. There you go. Close that mic. There you go. Thank you so much. All right, I should make, you know what I should do? I should make Christina the host so she can take care of those things for me. Hold on. Christina, I'm looking for you here. Hold on.
Okay.
You just whispered, okay. Hold on. You've been here. There you are. Hold on. Taking you the codes. There you go. All right, there you go. You can now take care of those things for me. Okay. All right, 4 years of college. Over to the right. 3.5 years is to the left. They'll owe $12,250 in subsidized, $7,000 unsubsidized. Obviously, the quicker you finish college, the less student direct loan the student will owe. 4 years of college is to the right, $22,000. I'll show you how that translates to monthly payments in just a minute. And you will see and agree with me, I hope, that the monthly payments isn't much if you have any kind of job. It's not student loans that are the problem. Let me say that again twice. It is not the student loan, direct loans that are the problem, parents. It is not the student direct loan that I found that is the problem. It's these large parent loans for those of us parents, especially since we're closer to retirement. Here are the monthly payments. I just did these today. The student interest rate shocked me. In all my time doing this work, it's never been above 2%. with the high rate of inflation that we have, and the Fed having to raise its interest rates, this is programmed to be 2.45% lower than the Fed rate, which is 8%. So we now have a 5.55% interest rates direct student loans. And you can see on the principals to the right, monthly payments over here. You remember I said 20,000. So at $20,000, monthly payments about $287.88. You can see the repayment on the loan. So if a student can't make the payment of less than $300 a month, then clearly we have to spend more time. We spend a lot of time on this too, of helping students develop their careers. I have a lot to say about career at the end for that very reason, because I want students to be able to easily pay their student loan, okay, if they have one. Here's the parent loan, however, and I've marked the chart off at typical CSU, over here to the right, typical UC. Let me get my graphic board here so I can write on this. Sorry about that. There we go. See, Brianna, I use it for something other than SAT. You see?
I see.
You see. Huh? Oh, no pun intended, huh? All right, so here we go. Right here, parents. Okay, there's a typical CSU 4 years. If you had parent loans, it's going to run up to $600 a month. But usually my parents lately have been coming in about here. So to go away to a CSU, about $300 a month. It does say 10 years, but you can pay it off sooner. I know I paid off my daughter's parent loan in, I think, about 4 years when she went to GW. I got a couple of bonuses, just paid that thing off. Look at the interest rate. I've never seen it above 6%. It's 8.5% now. When you get it next year, it's locked in for 4 years. The typical UC is down here to the right. I think you see it here. Oops. Oh, there it is. Down here, there's UC, right about there. And then you see HBCU and private schools. I've seen parents, believe it or not, I've seen things. Oops. I've seen it down here at the bottom at $350,000, parents. That's why I included it here. You go to a school like, say, NYU or USC, you could have monthly payments of $4,000 for 10 years per month. Okay, look at the interest payment on that. Look at how much, over $500,000 that you'll pay back on that student loan. And remember, you're the one that's going to retire. See, so that's very relevant. It's actually quite relevant. Okay. Hold on. It's over here. Okay, let's go on here. Okay, college is not only about, okay, that's right. Top career planning issues that I'm seeing are kind of unique to now, I guess. College is not only about getting away or getting a degree. Very important for students to hear this. It's about starting your life, okay? Just don't say they got to get away from home or just got to get a degree. And I know you hear that in your family, of course, you want to get one, but it's also about starting your life. So it's kind of a spiritual imperative there. Please recognize the career starts that are experience-based, that you need to start now and while you are getting a degree. See, while you're getting a degree and now, you should start doing things in parallel to get ready for your career. I'm gonna give examples in a minute. Nursing, video, TV production, animal care, theater, computer IT, AP Pro, all that stuff. Please recognize sometimes some of these things you need to get as skills in anything you major in. Like every student graduating should know how to set up a blog or a website or to use social media for marketing. These are like when we went to school, parents knowing how to use word processors and spreadsheets and things like that. They now some of them need to learn coding and need to learn how to set up apps and do things in addition to the degree they're going to have. We have to start thinking about career while we're in college and even before we go to college. Please recognize great careers that don't require a specific major, even though you might be getting a major. I saw where I was at a graduation for the LA Police Academy, and I realized that they're now only taking people to the academy who have degrees. Isn't that interesting? Because they can do that now, right? They actually can do that. So law enforcement, firefighting, but they don't require a specific degree, right? Please recognize careers that are not a major. Pre-med, I hear like, what do you want to major? What do you want to do for career? Well, or they'll say, I want to major in pre-med. Well, pre-med and pre-dental and pre-law, I don't have it up there. They're not really majors, they're disciplines. They're things you can take. Like there's a group of classes you can take to pass the MCAT, for example. I think I'm gonna do a lot more on that. Students start going to major in STEM careers to really know how to prepare for those careers. It's not just about getting a 4-year degree and getting a job anymore. The only career that is a major is engineering. Sure, you're not going to be an engineer unless you're an engineering major. Okay, so that's a good thing to know. College is not only about getting away, It may ultimately, the different thing I put up here is, why are you created? It may ultimately be, get this, a spiritual issue. It might be. Psalm 139 and 14. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. So marvelous are your works, and my soul knows very well. So youth that are hearing this, when you were envisioned by God, when you were created, God took out a cookie cutter and he made you, and then he threw that mold away. You're unique. Why are you here? It's ultimately a very important question. Why are you here? And this is why where career planning comes in. And I think where college fits, when you have a more of a sense of that you're made for a specific purpose. Listen closely. I haven't ever said it this way. You'll pick the school that you need and want, not just the one you want. Okay. Remember, experience-based career starts, videography and filmmaking, right? A lot of you might want to do film. Becoming a filmmaker has nothing to do with a degree. It happens in stages. I should have said has to happen in stages. It's happened in stages. Spike Lee and these great producers, a lot of them didn't have degrees when they started. It's an art, it's a gift, it's connections. If you want to make films, for example, make them. I mean, I'm doing videos on YouTube now, and I never thought I'd be making so many videos. Of course, these aren't like production movies for Hollywood, but nevertheless, it is video. How about getting into video podcasting yourself? YouTube videos, website blogs for nonprofits like us. Do some video work for me. How to learn it affordably in school. That's the thing you want to think about if you want to get a major like film. I have so many people who want to do film and they'll say they never made film before, and that's fine, but start making film. It's one of those careers you can start on now. Almost anybody who has a phone can start making film. I mean, you won't always be using the phone only, but that's the way people start. Then there's 2-year colleges you can learn it affordably. LA City College, West LA College. Medical doctor and veterinarian, my favorite ones to talk about. You high school student, you can go to a 4-year college and you get a degree related. Everybody thinks you have to get a BS in biology to be a doctor. I'm told that I now have 8 students that are doctors, and only 2 of them had a BS in chemistry or biology. How about a BA degree? BA in biology, chemistry, psychology, public health, health science. And you listen closely, you take these classes here that are required in order to pass the MCAT, which is the medical exam. This core of classes, you elect and take them. It may take you another half year, who knows? Biology, biochemistry, chemistry, organic chemistry, calculus, maybe calculus 2 sometimes, but always calculus 1. And you can take the MCAT. Look what your degree was in. You were a 4-year college degree. That degree was a BA degree of some sort even. Think about that. You could take the MCAT, then you can go to medical school. How about that? And you become a practicing doctor. So I'm going to challenge you to think out of the box about that one. All right. Here's how most people think you become a nurse. And most will tell you, even in your family, they'll tell you, you take 2 years of a 4-year college pre-nursing program, get a 3.6 in science and math. You take the second 2 or 3 years in a 4-year college of nursing, you know, that 3.6, you get a BS in nursing, you take a full-time nursing job. I didn't say the clinical's in there, but they're in there somewhere, I guess. So that's one way you could become a nurse. There's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of students get frustrated because they take this approach and they never can get into the nursing program because it's so selective. Look at the GPA. I want to see some of these students still become nurses. So I got to thinking about this. They could become a certified nursing assistant. If you want to be a nurse, go be a nurse. How about that? 2-year college, HR healthcare, part-time nursing job, that should be CNA. CNA through LVN, get some part-time work. You go to 4-year college, get a health science degree. CSU has a program, you get your health science degree, then you can come back for a year and you can become a nurse. Other possible degrees, BA in biology, BA in health science, BS in health policy. These are all degrees I've seen. Then you can go to the RNA licensing exam and you can have your full-time nursing job and you have experience as a nurse. So your first nursing jobs aren't just being trained by CNAs, right? You actually can begin to take on some of the actual work because you have 2-3 years, sometimes 4 years of actual nursing experience. So I want to see people not give up on being a nurse because some fuddy-dud 4-year school says they can't be one. Here's another way to become a nurse through one of our partners, Charles Drew. You can take the 3-year RN program, get your RNA licensing exam. They give you your clinicals too. Charles Drew will send you to their hospital right nearby, and you can have a full-time nursing job, go work for anybody you want. So even becoming a nurse, there's different ways we need to look at it. Other experience-based careers are shown here, okay? Have a career plan for using college that is chosen. Yeah, so if you go to a college, have a career plan. Except for engineering, do not be rigid about your major. It's usually not an important consideration in picking a college. Here are the most job and career flexible BA degrees. BA communication, BA biology, business administration. So you used to say, oh, what a BA degree, what are you going to do? I have some students making some good money with BA degrees. They have good careers. BA in business marketing, BA in psychology. Here's a little career map that I made up using those BA degrees, the kind of jobs. You know where I got the idea for these jobs? From places my students went in their second, third, and fourth job away from college. You can see how there's a map back to these. Look at the BA in biology and chemistry. Teacher, researcher, health science professional, pharmacist, nursing. Some even went to medical school. The BA in sociology, not social work in this example. Drug counseling, marriage and family counseling. The big thing is to get your first job, and then from there you can get additional training and education if you need that. Nonprofit office manager is a big one for students that graduate. Social media director, public relations, communications director. Just try to get your ideas going, students. Human resources, strategic planning. Don't think about the ultimate career goal. When you come out of college, you got to work your way into it. You got to work your way into it through various jobs. Okay. This idea of parallel training options, website app development, and things like that. We have a lot of great programs. I didn't list Coursera over there. There are certified training programs online you can take. We have a partnership with LA County Digital Divide. We've already had 6 of our students go through that. One of them is working part-time, creating code right now. There's so many ways to get trained in parallel with your degree these days. Of course, the Microsoft Office suite, you should be an expert on that by the time you go to college. You should be absolutely expert in that. Office management skills, telephones, email, CNA training, EMT, air conditioning repair. I have some mechanical engineers that learn to repair air conditioners while they're in college, making good money while they're going to college. paid for their master's in engineering, or got them training that helped them in their first job when they went to work for the feds or for aerospace. Tutoring and student training, I have a lot of them come work for me as tutors. They go on and have great careers. So start thinking in parallel about what you need to do to develop your career. All right. Believe it or not,